Hi everyone, I'm joined today by Annie, who's a software engineer here at Stripe, working on one of the most interesting parts of the entire company with agents. So tell us a little bit about what you've been doing to help agents talk to the Stripe dashboard.
Yeah, so as everyone know, Stripe is an API company, but we also have a very rich dashboard. And so far, the dashboard has always been, requiring session auth, and agents weren't able to use the dashboard elegantly. And there's a lot of things you can do in the dashboard, such as change your account's branding settings. And we've been wanting to empower agents to do as much as they can. And so my recent work has been uh, involved in trying to get agents access to the dashboard, whether it's in your coding agent or your chat agent. We want to be able to do, we want to be able for it to do things just the way you can in the dashboard.
So is this what the tools plugin is really about to bridge that gap?
Exactly, yeah. So the tools plugin is a plugin for the Stripe CLI that your coding agent can use, and it can use it to search all the available APIs, dashboard APIs that we exposed, and then find out more about them. And if it suits your needs, it will call them and achieve the task.
What are the other commands? You've got, was it search, details, and execute?
Yes.
Is there a sequence there that you used
Yeah,
to understand?
yeah. So it's kind of like progressive disclosure. So we don't want to cloud the agent's context window with, details about thousands of APIs at once. So the idea is that the user will ask the agent to do something. The agent will then search for APIs that might achieve that. And then the details command will let it find out more exact parameters and descriptions for that API. And finally, the execute command will let it pass any parameters and call the API.
So this is a very dynamic process that I think many developers, it might be new for. Why did you take that approach? Why is that important for agents to discover this way?
So as I said, one key thing for us to keep in mind was the context window of the agent. So with this pattern, the agent can just search at first and only find out what it needs to. And it helps the agent not get confused as well. And then it can go on and find out the details and then finally execute it. The good thing is that as developers, you don't need to really worry about any of this. The agent will figure this out in the background, and you should hopefully get to what you want.
As a developer, if I want to use this, what do I need to understand about API stability and how it relates to the agent?
Yeah, so for the APIs that we're trying to expose with the tools plugin, they are intentionally more unstable than the ones that we produce for the public API. And if you compare it with how the dashboard is, when you interact with the dashboard, you can expect that a few buttons might change here and there, the layout might change. So that's how we expect these APIs to behave as well. And so you can expect that these APIs will change more rapidly. And, we don't want any developer to kind of rely on that API in their code, for example.
Right,
This
right,
is for agents to use live.
right.
Yeah.
Now, from a point of view of authoring this tool,
Yeah.
do I use keys or does this work with any existing Stripe authentication that I've already used?
Yeah. So if you've been using the Stripe CLI, you don't need to do anything new for this at all. So the Stripe CLI uses API keys today, and this will work just as fine with those. So you just log into the Stripe CLI normally, like Stripe login, and this continues to work.
Great, great.
Yeah.
So give me a concrete example. So, this sounds great, but what sort of thing can I do in the dashboard using the agent?
So for like one example is that as a Stripe user, we give you the option to change your checkout page. For example, what the background color of your checkout page might look like. That is today only something you can do in the dashboard. So with this tools plugin, you can go to your CLI and ask the agent to change my checkout background color to, let's say, green, and it can go and figure that out for you.
What does the roadmap look like? I mean, there's a lot of agentic work happening. If a developer's building agentic workflows, how should they look at this roadmap and see how they can integrate this tooling?
Yeah. So for the roadmap, one important thing for us is to expose more capabilities to this. We are being intentionally cautious about what we expose and trying to learn from what developers need. And so further along the roadmap, you can expect more capabilities to show up in this plugin. Also, you can expect this to cover all our other agentic surfaces. So we think of the CLI as one agentic surface, and then we have the Stripe MCP as well. And we are also working on the Stripe console in the dashboard as well.
Are you seeing our users, our developer users, changing the sort of patterns that they use as they adopt these tools?
I think the main pattern shift is that people are now using these things live, as opposed to, we were always very used to putting things in code, and you never hear about people like curling one-off things. But now with agents, you can just tell it to go figure things out and it'll do it for you. And so I think we're seeing some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is absolutely fascinating. So
Yeah.
thanks for sharing this with us, Annie. And I'm sure we'll see you again in future videos as we see
Yeah.
many more developments in this space.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah.